listening to a band of gamers podcasting since 2012. Three older best mates share a few laughs and keep you current with discussions about the latest news, consoles, and games. Join the conversation and the community. ABandofGamers.com. Hey, welcome back. Listening to ABOG. How's it going?
Right? Welcome back. We just recorded, like yesterday, it feels like, man, it's craziness, man. Usually feels like 10 years, man, but we're rolling. So what we do back to back to back to back. Let's go, ABOG podcast.
2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. We've been doing real good, too. Keeping it right on track.
Right? So we're on a bit of a streak here.
It's a good sign, though, when it feels like it's too long, right? Which it does for us every other week. I hope you out there think it's also too long, waiting patiently for another episode with your pals here at ABOG. We got a good one for you. In this episode, Sony listens to fans and reverses a decision. There's a new record in the U.S. for most consoles sold in the first 5 months of a launch. Yet another
who it is.
Yeah, yet another Microsoft big acquisition not in the cards for this social platform, very popular social platform.
Mm-hmm.
Free to play actually is free to play. I've got a game I want to mention. I've talked about it before, but it's so damn good it needs a second mention. We've got what we're drinking and whatever other shenanigans occur throughout. Bird calls. We shall see.
All kinds.
Well, thank you for joining us. You can listen to our past episodes everywhere, basically. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Pandora, YouTube. If you want to watch a still image of our logo and listen on YouTube, you can do that too. Be sure to subscribe. Hey, and on Apple Podcasts, you have to click the follow button. That's a new thing now. Make sure you click the follow button, click subscribe, never miss a show. Get each new episode when it's released. I'm Joel, your MC, recording in Brookfield, Wisconsin, USA. Joining me on this journey, these two guys. First of all, from Birmingham, England, there's only one Keenan Davis, and it's Karl. Hey, Karl. Hey, Keenan. What's going on?
Hello. Yeah, I am not Keenan Davis, but there is only one. And he's just scored a very important goal. I'm sure a couple of our listeners will know this. John, I'm looking at you. Yeah, I'm an happy boy at the minute. Sad, but then happier towards the end. So I'm kind of buzzing, for the podcast. Isn't it great how you can get these little moments where, you can watch a game and you have, it's all right. And then just 2 or 3 or 4 minutes of excitement. It just gets you buzzing, So I'm pumped and ready.
And then we sit and hit record, and this very topical, very timely thing from 10 minutes ago is part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for Vancouver...
So you tell me, after all these years, in order to get Palmer fired up, all we had to do is play like a couple minutes of like a villain game or something,
Yeah, or, just get a FIFA or something, Or even, rock, paper, scissors before we record. Let's do it.
Ooh.
The other voice you hear there from Vancouver, Canada, go and ask the milkman. It's Shane. Hey, Shane.
Boys. Man, I had to put some sweatpants on today, man. It's freezing here in the Ivory Tower,
Is it?
Craziness.
Is that the only time you wear sweatpants, when it's cold out?
Maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think
I got socks on too, man. The ground's freezing today, man. Craziness.
I've been working from home for a year and a half. I pretty much live in sweatpants at this point.
Man, that's a I don't know how you guys do that, man. Work from home, man. I remember we did that last spring for like 6 weeks, man. That sucked, man. Sucks working from home. So I feel you, man. You could totally live in sweat. You gotta do what you gotta do to make the best of the situation. That's what I'm saying.
I'm getting quite used to working from home. What do you think, Karl?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm made for it, really. The sad thing is I've actually got to go back in the office this week, so I'm not looking forward to it particularly. It's been a long time since I've been in there.
It's back to work.
I know. Yeah, first
vacation's
day,
over.
Got my new uniform, little bag ready. I had to buy a new bag. I threw it out like I was we're done with all this, and it was on its way out, and I was like, yeah, retiring. And I thought, I'll pick a new one up before I go back in, the next time. And then like months go by and stuff, and I was like, I'm back in a couple of days. I better buy a new bag for my laptop and all my gear. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, but I suppose it'll be just a step back to normality, which we've all got to take at some point. It's one of those things. A rite of passage, perhaps. But yeah, I'll see how I feel in 2 weeks.
It feels longer too. I just said a year and a half, but really it's been a year and a month. It just feels like a really long year and a month.
Yeah.
But we're also getting close to getting back, hopefully soon. I'm anxious to see my teammates. We do Teams and Zoom calls, the equivalent, every day. So I see my teammates probably more now than I did when I was in the office, which is really strange. But I do miss actual people. And I go into the office once a week to do a couple things. And the other day I went in and there was like 4 people in there, which was rare nowadays. And we had a moment like, oh my God, it's you. I haven't seen you in like a year. It was kind of nice. We wanted to hug, but we thought we'd get in trouble and we couldn't. I don't even, what are the rules now? It's like,
yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Everyone's breathing in to hide that COVID weight. Everyone's like, yeah, man, I've been great. I've done all this stuff. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Nice.
Not bad. You too.
Sony's in the news, reversing a decision to shut down the PS3 and the Vita stores. So, hey, we talked about this for 10 minutes last episode? And who cares? Doesn't even matter. They changed their mind. PSP is still on track, though, to be shut down. That one's not reversed. But I don't think there's many people complaining about that one. It was the PS3 and the Vita that really got a lot of, I'm sure, social media and all the places where people bitch and moan, right? I'm sure that was happening.
Yeah.
There was an article on their blog, PlayStation blog, by Jim Ryan. Hey, big guy, president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment. He said, when we initially came to the decision to end purchasing support for PS3 and PS Vita, it was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices and the ability for us to focus more of our resources on newer devices. We see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing classic games on PS3 and Vita for the foreseeable future. So I'm glad we were able to find a solution to continue operations. There you go.
Great news.
Yeah, they're reacting to the community. I like that. They're listening.
I don't like the fact that they are kind of wishy-washy and have flipped back. That's that's my gripe. And this is the same when Microsoft did something like a year ago or whatnot, and then immediately flipped. And when I wish they would have had a little bit more foresight and put a little bit more thought into the original decision before doing something like this. Because I just don't like you flipping. Like, oh, everybody's upset. Okay, well, we better not do that now. Like, make your decision, stick with it. To me, it's like from a company. You do your due diligence and you make the right decisions. And you stand behind them. And they flipped, and whatever is what it is, because it is for the best. There are so many great PlayStation 3 digital titles, as well as the PlayStation Vita, which is absolutely loaded with so many. And I think the lack of time, really, because it was only 3 months notice. I think that was the biggest problem in it. I think if they had said, they'd be closing, say, July 2022, it probably wouldn't have been that great of backlash or that amount. But it is good.
Exactly.
And you know what? It gives there's a few developers that we're still working on Vita stuff, so hopefully that gets to finish up, and there'll be some decent titles. There already was. They had a sequel to one of my favorite Vita games, Aqua Kitty. Great game. Love that game. And they just the sequel just came out last week, and that's on the Vita, so it's great.
Man, so once again, you hit the nail on the head again, dude.
It's what I do here, man. You just bring me in every 8 years. I come back and let's go.
But this is what we're seeing, though. We are, for some strange reason, we're now living in a world where there is no, like you say, due diligence. There is no forward planning. Looking at a roadmap and saying we're going to launch this new console. So maybe after 2 years, we start winding in the old one. Maybe, and I know a lot of this is driven on software sales and all the rest of it, but have a guide, have an idea, drop it, a warning to people and be like, 2 years, this, we're going to close this off, and for something that's redundant as the PSP, and the Vita. No disrespect, the Vita's an amazing machine, but people aren't really releasing games for it, with the exception of the sequel to Aqua Key, which is a great game. It's one of those where you think there is no transparency, and it just seems that the excuse now is like, we'll make the announcement and we'll feel it out. We'll see how social media reacts. We'll see how the world kind of deals with it, and then if there isn't too much uproar, we'll carry on. And that kind of thing concerns me a little bit, because it just shows that perhaps they are a little bit out of touch with us, the consumer, and how they're going to deal with it. So every time this happens, I'm like, it does concern me a little bit.
You guys you've taken up what I thought was a positive thing, and you've really kind of turned it into a negative slant. I didn't expect that, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think you guys are, hitting the nail on the head there, as Karl just said about Carpenter Shane over there. But we did reach out to our listeners and asked last episode. I don't want to lose sight of this. We were expecting this non-reversal. We were expecting this decision to stay and go. Should we share those gem games, or do we save that for an upcoming episode? I'm kind of
I think we should compile and keep going with it, and get a bunch of some hidden gems and whatnot, and share them all in one go here, because in our Discord server there's a bunch of great recommendations, which is also another great reason to come on in and join our Discord server, because there's lots of gaming talk, lots of recommendations.
As if you need another excuse. It's already great. Okay, it's not making it a negative, don't get me wrong. I just, the way that the world is, there is a little bit of that kind of, you shout loud enough and things happen. And it's not to say that Sony and Microsoft weren't incorrect in the first place. It may be the positive slant on that is the power of the consumer. If you want to flip it another way and say your voices are being heard, so if you want something to stay open for longer, I just hope that it does result in people, perhaps, even if you're not buying new games, but maybe take this as an opportunity to look at your catalogue, all those games you've got, or there's hundreds of games that you probably never looked at. Have a look now. Download a few. Have a little go. And then let us know which of those are classics that you're just sad to see go.
You guys promoting things. Wonderful. Well done. Pro veteran moves there. I did name the last episode PlayStation heel turn, because they have gotten some bad press lately with that go back to the last show, the whole conversation we had for 20 minutes or something, but they've had some bad publicity lately. So they thought about it. They knew people would be mad that they were shutting. I mean, obviously they expected people to be like, hey, don't do that, when they made that decision. Could it be in the current situation they're in, with some of the negative press they've been getting and people like me saying heel turn like a douchebag over here? Do you think maybe that is contributing to this reversal? It's like, hey, we don't need like two black eyes right now. Maybe we are out of touch, but let's act like we're in touch. Let's act like we care and have this reversal. They didn't need two black eyes in a row, right? You follow me?
Interesting take. Could very well be. That's what I don't know, man.
It's not like they made the decision and said, as long as it's less than 450,000 people on Twitter complaining,
right,
we're cool. But if it goes to 450 plus, then we're going to reverse the decision.
Then we gotta think about it.
They knew people would be mad. They knew they'd get a little bit of like, oh, come on, they knew that would happen. Of course, it's anytime you take anything away from a gamer, anytime there's an uproar. Always. Even if it's something insignificant, there's an uproar.
But these stores they're going to close eventually anyway.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't this just the start of? I took the words right out of my mouth. We are, as we push to an all-digital future, this is the kind of scenario that we are going to have. And I know myself, like, I've got a digital back catalogue of hundreds of games, whatever. But it's my fault if I've paid a bit of money for that at one point in time. I probably got it on sale, and I've not really looked at it. And 5 years have passed, or 10 years have passed. That's on me, man. That's on me as the guy who's bought something and never looked at it. You have to take a bit of responsibility to you understand what you're getting into. I think anyone buying games now on this platform, and again, another feather in the cap for Game Pass. You put a couple of quid in, and it's a jukebox. You play what you want when you want. The luxury, if you like, of not owning something and not having that worry, and avoiding this problem down the line, is that something that maybe Microsoft and Sony can look at and go, actually, maybe that's the way to go, because you're going to avoid this problem of having an all digital future and people, jumping up and down and say, I want to play that game that I bought on the Vita for £2 and never installed or never looked at. Where do you draw the line on where you can kind of terminate an online service and say that you just don't have access to that anymore?
I don't know, man. But we're going to find out, because that's coming. It's a new future we're living in here, and that is the future. I made this decision to go all digital, but I know full well I'm going to regret certain games going away and not having the capability to throw the disc in. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think there's something seriously in the works for like a big PS Now upgrade or something that I think is going to preserve a lot of the PS3 library, at least what's currently on now and whatnot, because there is rumblings of a major kind of patch coming to it to bring like resolution up to like 1080p, because it's not currently at 1080. So they're working on something, and I think maybe it was a little bit just too early to maybe close down the PS3 store and whatnot, and it with a lot of folks not knowing what's happening, it created all this outrage, when realistically down the road I'm certain there's going to be some sort of giant upgrade to preserve these going forward.
Yeah, when Xbox and their ecosystem, the games go forward with your consoles, so it's just a completely different situation there. There's no worry as an Xbox gamer, primarily myself. There's no worry for me of losing content like this. You can't shut down the 360 store. The Xbox store is the Xbox store. It's the same across all of their consoles. Yeah. There's no threat of an old one being shut down. There is the threat of a game being taken away. That can happen anytime. Licensing issues, a certain song maybe lose a license to, so that can happen. But yeah, very interesting. PS5, though, just set a U.S. sales record. I'm sure it's probably it's selling crazy everywhere, but here in the U.S., it was, according to somebody working for the NPD, an analyst, it had a record first 5 months of a system launch. So for the first 5 months of a console launch in the U.S., the PlayStation 5 sold the most. Considering you can't buy one, you can't find one, what kind of record would it have set if it were readily available? It set the record with a very, what would appear, a stressed supply. Pretty incredible. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe that supply is greater than we realized. If it set a record, there must have been a lot of them available.
Right? The scalpers couldn't have bought them all. Right? There's people out there that have them, but
unless there's a lot of scalpers.
Yeah,
they're all sat in warehouses somewhere. But no, they were always going to sell, and I think what you're saying there, Joel, about the state of the world, the market that they were in at the time, anybody, there's a lot of people who were at home with a bit more cash because they couldn't go and do things perhaps that they would normally be doing, spend time out the house and going out. So it became a treat. It's like, new console's coming, let's get one. And I think demand may have been slightly artificially inflated a little bit, but I think and it goes for Xbox as well, like if they could churn these out, they'd be selling. I don't think it's necessarily PlayStation. It's just on the back of the success of the PS4, people are already invested. They're like, right, I'm just going to go and get the next upgrade. That's what it is. So you've got to factor in the success of the PS4 into these figures, but they are still very impressive.
This is from, give credit the source here, Matt Piscatella on Twitter. He apparently is an NPD analyst, and he had some tweets, stated this, so hopefully it's fact. He seems to think it is. He also said Nintendo Switch was the best-selling hardware platform in both units and dollars during the month of March. So Switch is still selling like crazy. That was the best-selling console in March here in the US. Nintendo Switch was the unit sales leader, while PlayStation 5 ranked first in hardware dollar sales. It's obviously a much more expensive console.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 is the fastest selling console in the US history, both in unit and dollar sales, lifetime sales with 5 months on the market. Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Good for them. Yeah, and that brand loyalty, man, like Karl said. They have a lot of really great fans that were anxious to support and to buy the new one, stuck at home. And it plays all it plays all the PS4 games, right? I'm still confused by their
outside of like 4 now. It was like at 7 at one point, and then there's a few patches that went in. So there's, yeah.
And you're not missing anything for they're not games that you know. No disrespect to those games, they're not games that I think the majority of people are that fussed about. Yeah,
they're cult followings to these titles. I couldn't even tell you the name of one. But.
Yeah, here come the emails. Right. But it's all about infrastructure, isn't it? And being invested in what's come before. So, in the same way that my son has just had an iPhone, it was his birthday yesterday. He's just had an iPhone for his birthday, and he's been on Android all the way before that. But now all of a sudden wants an iPhone because his friends have got an iPhone. So I'm like, okay, well, now you're in their ecosystem. That's all you're going to be doing. And he's like, no, you know. But the minute you're in there, you're invested. And I guess that's something as well. You know, you think about the Game Pass model compared to what PlayStation do at the moment. Is there an argument for the Game Pass model being quite, you know, fluid? You know, if you're not going to buy games on your Xbox, and if you are just invested in Game Pass, if you start like, I'm going to buy a PlayStation and I'm going to buy games on that, or buy games on a PC, it doesn't have the hook, I think, that will keep you in long term. But while the short term offering is fantastic, you're always going to be around for the short term. So if I'm Microsoft, I'm thinking you've got to think about that situation. You know, you've got great discounts, people can buy the games and do all those other things, but longevity, stuck in the same console family for generations is what keeps you stuck in there.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this before, but I think Microsoft is more interested in selling you the subscription than they are the box.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're perfectly satisfied, and I'm sure they sold a lot of boxes, but it's that subscription that they want to sell you, not the console. Console's great, though, because I don't have to go buy a gaming PC. I can just put that thing under my TV, and that's how I like to play, so I hope they don't stop doing that. But they're definitely more interested in but in 10 years, that could be an app on a TV. Just right. Who knows? You may not even need the box as technology progresses, and they're very heavily invested in the cloud. And they've got a beta up now where they are beta testing iPhone and iPad cloud gaming. Since Apple wouldn't let them do it, they didn't give them permission to put their app and have the cloud gaming like Android's done. Can't do that on an iPhone or an iPad. So they just went in the back door and they put it into the internet browser, which is now being offered for beta testing if you are a Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. I didn't get invited, damn it, but some got invited to beta test. So, you can take an Xbox controller, and play these games on your iPad.
Yeah.
Right through the cloud with Game Pass.
Absolutely. And as an Android phone owner who plays these games on PC, but used to have an Xbox, it works incredibly well. Like, you know, you literally just, if you buy those little clamps, put it on your controller, put your phone on there as your screen, like it's seamless. It works so well, that streaming stuff. It really is like, it just doesn't drop any frames. Its performance is fantastic. So there's no, I guess there is no drawback to not having the console, you know, for me, mainly on PC. You know, if I'm just like, I'm just going to sit down in a comfy chair and play a little bit, just whack my phone in there and have a little play, and it's great.
You know what I've done a few times to go out on the patio. It's starting to get nice here in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
it's warming up. Get to go out on the patio, sit by the pond, bring out my iPad and my Xbox controller, and I can actually connect through the Xbox app, I can connect to the console in the basement and stream from the console to my iPad and play the game. And it actually pulls up my entire dashboard. And it did a little bit of latency, but it works pretty damn well.
Yeah.
And I imagine taking that like on a long vacation or something for nighttime and just ping the console, have access to all of my games on the console and stream them right to that device.
Yeah. Not remote play with the Vita. God bless it.
Exactly like remote play.
It just works great. Great way to enjoy your games.
Discord is not selling to Microsoft. This, according to the Wall Street Journal. Microsoft had been in advanced talks, I'm quoting the article here, to acquire Discord for at least $10 billion, guys. Now, that is being reported by the Wall Street Journal. I think we kind of went back and forth on $10 billion being crazy money and maybe not legit. But here the Wall Street Journal has said they were offering at least $10 billion for Discord. Those talks ended without a deal, though it is possible they could be rekindled in the future, some of the people said. And apparently Discord is looking to do like an IPO, go public and sell pieces of it that way. Which, I don't know, Karl, you're a banker. Couldn't Microsoft buy a large chunk of the stock? If they did that, I think obviously they must think it's going to get a lot more than what's being offered.
They could, they could buy a large chunk of the stock. I guess it depends what it floats for and what the initial take-up is, but it's more than likely to be. I mean, it's the number one way of communicating. Maybe not for our generation, although we do use it a lot, and our Discord is great. Especially with the younger generation of kids coming through, like I said, my boy's 14 now. Him and his mates are literally solely on Discord, and they all communicate through schools. They've got their own group of little mates. Different groups have got different Discord groups going. They've got different servers, and it's so built into them now that again, they're invested in it. So when they play online games, they play multiplayer, they're always using the Discord app or on the PC to talk and chat through playing games, which is, if we go back to when we were younger, Joel, Shane, online chat while you were gaming, which didn't come around for quite some time, was a bit clunky, was a bit more difficult, but now it's so easy, and it is the number one service for doing that, regardless of whatever device you've got or where you're based. So I think the sensible thing for them to do is float it and see what value is then given, and it's a bidding war then, isn't it? If they want to sell it further down the line, then they can do that. But it doesn't surprise me that Microsoft were into it. They've got a lot of cash, and even if it doesn't turn out to be a big money spinner for them, it does bring a lot of people across, and perhaps embed it into their ecosystem. But yeah, interesting. We'll see where this goes. See what happens if they do go public on it.
Yeah, and with Xbox you can game out on the patio with your iPad. You can do the cloud gaming on the console, on the PC. How nice would it have been for them to have an app like Discord that can connect to all of those things and allow that seamless communication while online gaming? It seems like a nice bit of service there they could have added. And who knows what else they would have did with it. Could have did a lot more with it. I know Discord had a storefront for a while. I think they've since removed that. But Xbox could have put their storefront right in Discord. Who knows what they could. The sky's the limit if they...
Yeah.
I could see why they wanted it. $10 billion, though, I'm with you guys last time we talked about it. That is a lot of... I didn't expect it to be worth $10 billion. That's more than what they paid for Bethesda.
Right. A lot of money.
It's crazy money.
Crazy.
Xbox multiplayer is now free to play. Or is free. Wait, this is weird. This is a mouthful. Xbox multiplayer no longer requires Xbox Live Gold on your free-to-play games. So 50 games available immediately. They've taken that door away, I guess, the lock. No longer need Xbox Live to play a free-to-play game on multiplayer. And of course, they are the last to get this right. The other two systems, PlayStation and Switch, already allowed without the need of the service, without Plus or without the... What's the Nintendo thing? Nintendo Online? I forget how they named it.
Nintendo Online, yeah.
You don't need those for your free-to-play games. Whereas on Xbox you did, but no more. And I think there's definitely something going on with Live. I mean, they had the name change, which Xbox Network. Now it's free for the free-to-play games. I think there's like a facelift going on with that whole service. Anxious to see where it lands, but this seems like a step. As I hit my drum cymbal, seems like a step in the right direction. Don't know if that came through. Oops.
Yeah, I don't see like your Fortnites and your Rocket Leagues, your free to play titles. So if you got a buddy that likes playing, Fortnite, I can get an Xbox and still play. Still have a good time.
As it should be. Free to play should be free to play.
Yep.
And I think, all these companies have got enough money. Why not?
Do you think the kids are paying attention to this? I mean, I wouldn't put us in this category, but do they care? Did a bunch of kids just all of a sudden say, "No, I want an Xbox," because they no longer charge the Xbox Live Gold?
Mm.
They're so busy.
Here's how it goes from experience. You pay for the subscription. The accounts are connected to your accounts, or they're on the same consoles or whatever. So one day you just get a call. Oh, I can't play online on the Xbox because and I've just decided to boot Fortnite up, and I'm going, yeah, because I cancelled Xbox Live Gold because you never used it.
Yeah, buddy.
Right? So I stopped playing. Like I've had Xboxes, you know me, chaps. I've had Xboxes here or there at different points in time. And before I had the Xbox One X, I'd cancelled Xbox Live Gold because it wasn't on the PC. The Game Pass thing didn't exist. Game Pass, Game Pass and all that. So I cancelled Xbox Live Gold because I got rid of my Xbox. And although I gave my old Xbox to the boy, he was playing it intermittently. So 6 months went by. Xbox Live had lapsed, and he was like, "Oh, just decided to boot Fortnite, but I can't play it, Dad. What's going on?" Like, completely unaware.
Nice.
What was needed, and how to play online on different platforms. Doesn't even register. It's just like, I want to click a button and play with my mates. And he's like, "I know where I'll just play on PC. Fine." That's how it goes.
But that's the way it should be, right? I mean, the younger generation, they don't understand all, and hence the name change, which makes it even more confusing. But they don't understand that you need Plus to play games online, or you need Xbox Live to play, or you need Game Pass to. It's confusing as shit.
Absolutely.
The younger generation, and more than us, Karl. Everything is one button click and should just work. They don't have to worry about all these inconveniences. What
they do is they ask the best questions. It's like, well, we all own the game, so why can't we play together? And
right.
You're like, that's a really good point. And the only reason is because A, B, and C don't get on, and they don't want you to play together. And well, that's not right. No, actually, it's not right. So it's the simple questions that get you going.
Well, it's not right, though. It's okay. They all got the consoles. They all asked for a console. You don't want to talk to your friends and all get the same console, then hey,
Well, that's happened forever, though, hasn't it? You always. I mean, when I was growing up, like we all had, a lot of us had Super Nintendos, or even actually before then, Commodore 64s versus Spectrums. You'd be off. Everyone would have different ones, and then you'd only get certain games on certain consoles or computers. But you always had the one lad who owned a Neo Geo. Tarquin or somebody.
The rich kid.
Yeah,
exactly. Kid. Yeah, Tarquin the turbo graphics. It's like, buddy, what are you doing? Like, come on, man.
That's my video game room over there. Yeah, this. I don't really play those. It's like 17 games in the wrapper in cellophane. It's not been in Joel's basement. All these games untouched. You're like, oh man, let's crack these open and play. It's like, no, we got to play croquet on the lawn.
Dude, I grew up playing a janky NHL 94 on Super Nintendo, and all my friends had Genesis. So,
oh man.
Yeah, the console wars. That's why probably a little PTSD why I don't like console wars, man. Like the one kid that's that whole system's jerky. Like, settle down.
Screw that,
the
man.
The beauty of it was
Genesis was the best.
Yeah. Well, it depends on your point of view. Like I thought the SNES was the best until I got Mortal Kombat and it had green blood, and I'm like,
Yeah, but we had King Griffey Jr. So made up for till it got stolen.
Oh yeah, but they're better versions of like Aladdin and all the Disney platform games ran better on the Genesis, which is it was what it was. Yeah, man, long live console wars.
Rip.
I love talking about. There's a lot of us out there, man, who are buying one console, and you need to be informed. And do we? You just brought something up, Karl. Is that conversation still happening where friends are thinking about which consoles to buy based on what their other friends are buying? And now with like cross-platform play and everything, is that even a thing anymore? Like, well, you got to get an Xbox because I have an Xbox and we play together all the time.
No. Well, I mean, I can only talk from the point of view of my boy, but again, like when I pre-ordered these 3 consoles, right, and I cancelled 2 and kept the PlayStation 5, and I said to Luke at the time, I was like, right, I've got all these. If you want one, I'll keep one for you. You can have it for Christmas. If your mates, or what are your mates talking about? Who wants PlayStation? Who wants Xbox? And I was like, well, I'll have whichever one you don't want. If you want the PS5, you can have the PS5, and I'll get an Xbox, no problem. And it was like, oh yeah, no one's really talking about it, and we're not really bothered. I was like, oh. Okay.
They're all playing on their phones, right? They're playing on their phones or their tablets.
Phones, Discord, Steam, watching streamers. They play what the streamers play, and then they want to beat the streamers. So that's pretty much how it goes.
Playing while watching streamers.
Yeah. Play games. And then the streamers play the game, and they all want to play what the streamers are playing. Where it's Minecraft and then Among Us and I don't know. The other Minecraft game, Hypixel, and all that kind of stuff. And then they watch that and they're like, oh, that's what I want to play now. That's where they get the influence from. Whereas
for sure. Yeah.
Back in the day, we'd have bought a magazine and be like, oh, look how good this game looks. I'm going to go and play that. And 9 times out of 10, we were disappointed.
Box art. Man, this game.
God, yeah.
This game looks killer.
Talk about false advertising.
Oh, man. There's some good
Dragon
chats.
Warrior.
Stuff, guys. If you'd like to support us, a couple of ways you can do it. Tell a friend. Old school, man. We're old, right? Go old school. Just tell a friend. Pass it on. Give them a note in the middle of the workday. Stick them a little piece of paper like, hey, ABOG.
Here's notes.
Here's the RSS feed on this piece of paper with 2 backslashes. Just do that. You can leave us a review on iTunes, another way to support us, or wherever you listen. Or you can join us for friendship, conversation, and Discord. It's worth more than 10 million, but none of this costs you a dime. It's all free. We're not asking for your money. We're asking for your support.
Right?
Show your boys in ABOG a little love. We need a hug. It's been a long pandemic. We need some hugs, man.
We good, man. We're here every 2 weeks. We're the rock that you rely on. A lot of podcasts out there that charge money. We'll never. Rest assured, your boys will always be here.
Yeah, no, we pay.
Free.
We pay to be here for you. Man,
right?
It's your damn money. Just give us an hour every other week.
Some of these fake podcasts out there, but
fake.
Bunch of posers.
I should mention my Patreon actually while we're talking about that.
He's lying. It's an OnlyFans.
Well, I got a game.
OnlyFans.
I got a game I wanted to talk about because I love the hell out of this game. But before we get to that, and maybe these guys got some games too. I don't know. But we got beers. ABOG is fueled by craft beer and some other drinks on occasion. But we like to drink some beer. We like to talk about it. We like to share what we're drinking. We make special trips sometimes to get a good beer for the show.
That has happened.
Yeah, mostly Shane. And then we get like a really cool text message where he's got like a pallet in his garage of fresh beer.
Buddy.
Okay,
well, because
maybe I exaggerate a little bit.
Was it this week on Monday? They announced like locally they're gonna start cutting down or cracking down unnecessary travel, recreational travel, and they're gonna set up like roadblocks and whatnot. So, and that was coming in effect on this past Friday, right? They announced it and give people a few days, and then it comes into effect. So I'm like, shit. I better stock up on beer. So I travel like 3 towns over into Vancouver down to Parallel 49.
Nice.
Go down there, get that curbside pickup. They got that little bay door that they open up. You just tell them what you want. They bring it to the window. Here you go. So I picked up like a pallet, had the pallet jack trying to drag that across the street to the whip, load her up. So I stocked up, man. Stocked up for, probably the next few days worth of beers, my Subsonies. But yeah, and I always got to message the boys the big haul, the big pallet of beer. So I'm always good. You want to come over? Come on over. There's always beer for you. Always.
Such a good host. What are you drinking this episode, Shane? Looks like you got like maybe a Parallel 49 on the list here.
Yeah, that's a good question, Joel. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So upon said beer run, grabbed a new one that they're doing for the summer, and it's a sparkling peach ale. It's like, what does that even mean? I don't know, but it's sparkling. So it's got a lot of carbonation. I'm not a big carbonation fan, but it's there, and it's got really, really cool can art. As always, man, they always have the best. This is called Peach Bod, and just in time for summer.
I love that artwork.
That's awesome.
Right? It's just a giant peach on the beach. It's got some swimming trunks, and he's flexing, showing off that peach bod.
Showing off his peach gut, looks like his big old beer,
right?
His peach beer gut.
Yeah, man, and it's super clean, super crisp. I'm telling you, man, summertime, when it's hot out, when you start getting 28, 29, 30 degrees, 33 degrees, it's gonna go down real good. You fire up that barbecue, one nice little cooking yourself something to eat, maybe a tomahawk steak. I don't know what you like, but you want a dog, good old fashioned grilled hot dog. We can do that, and you know what? We'll get you a nice peach bod to go with it. Keep you cool, keep you hydrated.
Yeah, big fan of them grilled hot dogs, man. Stuffed with this line from what the hell's the name of that movie? The Great Outdoors. Remember that movie? Lips and assholes.
Basically.
Scraps off the floor.
Damn.
Man,
Right.
hot dogs are delicious.
They certainly are, man. Little raw onion on there, a little mustard. Let's go.
You got to grill them though. You got to burn them up.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat them wieners plain.
Yeah. You need that snap action on the skin.
Yeah.
Man. You need that crisp.
Snap action. Nice.
Man. Divert back to beer talk. Carl, what do you got?
Yeah.
What do you got, Carl?
Well, I've got a polar opposite, I think, to Shane's beer that he's got here. And I'm not a fan. I having been to Belgium and drank many beers in Belgium, I am partial to a Belgian beer. A buddy of mine, Chris, reached out to me. He's like, dude, you got to try this. You love your beer. You got to try this beer. And I was like, okay. I'll go and pick up a case of 12 and try them out. And this particular brew, it's called Gulden Draak. It's regarded as one of the finest beers in the world, and
Ooh.
certainly the best out of Belgium. It's a triple, so triple distilled, fermented, I should say. And it's from the Brasserie van Steenberge. It's I'll hold up to the boys. It's really dark. It's
It's like a reddish almost.
Yeah, it is a brown ale, but it's technically, I suppose, because of the strength of it, a barley wine.
Yeah.
It's good. I've run out of superlatives for it because it is everything that I was promised. And having drank a load of the usual suspects, the Devals and the Lefts and all the rest of it when I've been over there, they are a bit of a acquired taste. They're not the normal beers you would kind of pound down, but because they're strong and they're served in half pint measures and all the rest of it to keep the head nice and frothy on there. This weighs in at 10.5%. It's a sipping beer for sure. And after I drink 2 or 3 of these, I really do just want to go to bed. It's really malt, toffee, sweetness, but not too sweet. It's phenomenal. You can pour this and it will sit there and it will have a head on it for about 2 hours. No lie, the head will not disappear. It's not gassy. It's just smooth as silk. Hell of a good beer, and I can see why it's the plaudits are out for it. Like in the saying that it's one of the best in the world. Definitely, you can't drink too many though. But seriously, it comes in a tiny little bottle. It is just under a pint, and the little dragon on there is actually on top of it's either a church or a cathedral in Ghent, where it's brewed. But yeah, phenomenal beer. Just a great dark red ale. Just awesome,
Man.
Enough said. You're not going to find it in the supermarket. You are going to have to go a little bit further afield to grab one. But a couple of these, and you're very nicely grinning away and get a nice little buzz on. Really good.
We got some great beers this episode. Let's finish her off with another fantastic beer. It's a collaboration between my guys at 1840 and Eagle Park. Probably my 2 favorite breweries.
Yeah.
Here locally. Do a collaboration every 420. They call it 1840s. This 1840s release, Joint IPA, which they put out on 420, obviously. I think last year I thought it had CBD oil in it, but I do not see that listed at all in the ingredients here. So I'm not sure if that changed or what, but it doesn't matter. It's still a fine beer, double dry hopped. It's got Nugget, Strata, Columbus, Citra, Simcoe, and Lotus hops. Man, it's just loaded with hops, and it's very, very dank tasting. Kind of a little bit sweet. Definitely has that hazy color to it. Very, what do you say? Almost like a tangerine color almost.
Right. Little sticky icky.
Yeah. It's very good. Very good. Picked up 8 bottles yesterday. 3 left.
8 pallets. Wow. Right?
Oh my God. My wife and I enjoyed a few of these last night. Very good. It's 8.5%. So what did I say? I expanded the boxing scale to include punch out characters now. I think that's where we're headed. So what did I say? Piston Honda. Weight here.
Good.
Yeah. Maybe almost Bald Bull. I don't know where Bald Bull would show up. That might be more like a 9.
Yeah, Bald Bull.
He's a pushover though. He's the champ at the medium level, right? So
yeah, he's a step down from this one, I think.
Yeah. But raise them glasses. Cheers.
All right, boys.
To another episode of ABOG. Good chats.
Cheers.
Yay. Great beers.
And then
Great beers.
The awkward pause where,
man.
Longtime listeners know we're drinking right now.
There's not an awkward pause if you're drinking.
Right. Yeah. New listener might be like, something's wrong with my headphones. No, that's just us slamming our beers. Get used to it. Yeah, let's talk
some. I like beer. It tastes like rust.
Let's talk some games here. I had one I wanted to mention because I'm playing the hell out of this game. I mentioned it previously. I think it was even in my favorites of the year. But Lonely Mountains Downhill has been taking up a lot of my time when I'm sitting down playing some games. It's on Game Pass. Basically, you're a little like mountain biker. Start on the top of a mountain. Got to make your way down some good paths. A lot of searching for shortcuts and alternate paths. A lot of crashing. Tons of crashing. And a little bit of like some pixelated blood. I don't know, it's cartoony looking almost. But this is just a fantastic game, man. I really enjoyed it last year. Saw it sitting there on the console. Like, I got to play this some more because I never finished all the courses. I'm just loving it, man. I don't know how many hours I put in on this, but a lot. And it's just a fun game. It's challenging, but not in a way that's going to make you throw your controller. But you start off, you just got to, the first objective on a new course or map is just make your way to the bottom. And after you make your way to the bottom, the next objective is, okay, now do that in 2.5 minutes. Or do it without crashing more than 9 times. And they keep increasing the times. They keep raising the bar. Okay, now do it in 2:15. Now do it in 2 minutes. And then you get to like expert level. Okay, now do it in 1:45. And you can't just take the regular path down to get some of those really good times. You have to search and take some risks, take some jumps, find some new paths. So it's a lot of discovery. And it's got great controls. It's a hell of a game. So if you missed it last time, I wanted to give a shout out again. Lonely Mountains Downhill. It's free on Game Pass. Check it out, man. Great, great game.
That game's amazing.
I love it.
Yep.
It's on the other systems too, man.
You gotta, it's that old school kind of. You ain't gonna get the best score. Your first time going down, man. You gotta plan that stuff out, man. You gotta memorize that track, memorize that course, memorize that route. Experiment. Take that left turn
and pull it off.
Great game.
And pull it off. You got to pull it off without. You can find the track, but then sometimes it's difficult to actually hit it without crashing.
Yep.
You're going down these steep mountains, and you have to land the tires in the right spots, and otherwise you're crashing and dying. But it's got 6, 7, 8 checkpoints per course. So when you crash, you just start back at the last checkpoint. It's not too brutal. And I love the first, like Shane said, the first time you play a course, they don't even time it. There's no time whatsoever. It's just get down the damn mountain. Yeah. And after you do that, it's like, okay, now we'll start timing it. And they time each individual checkpoint. So you can actually check as you're going through. You can see if it'll give you a red number if it's worse, or a green number if it's better, and it'll show you the difference. Like you just gained 2 seconds, or you lost 2 seconds, or there's a lot of carrots,
cool.
a lot of little carrots to chase as you're going through. It's a great. I love mountain biking too. So I love this game.
Yeah.
Some would say a Game Pass gem, Joel.
Wow.
I played a bit of it. I must admit, it's really, really good. I did find it a bit tough though. The further you get down, like it's a bit, it's challenging, and I do like the way that the checkpoints, like you say, like it's like Formula One when they're going through the setting the best time that they can for qualifying, and you get in each section, you get like 0.10 seconds behind. I can make that up, and then you keep messing up and you keep crashing. It's a great little game. Really enjoyed that.
That's it for me. You guys got anything you want to mention?
Just played a little bit of that new MLB The Show 21.
Yeah.
Just come out. Yeah, it's a good game of ball.
What you think so far? You played every year, so I'm really curious to get your impressions.
Yeah, it's not a huge jump from the previous year. It's kind of the same, really.
When you got it on PS5 too, right?
Yeah.
And you're not seeing a system generation kind of jump there either?
Not as big as maybe what I expected, but it's, it looks good. It looks, it looks like how the 4K looked on PS4, but is actually smooth, because the 4K on the PS4, it got kind of choppy. I mean, it was a noticeable difference because of the frame rate drop. But this, it's smooth and it looks really good. But it's not something I'm going to show off the PS5 with at all.
Yeah.
They've made some changes to it. I'm guessing to be a little bit more accommodating on the Xbox platform. The menu is all completely different and revamped, which I don't really like. I thought they had a great menu system, with all the, almost all the kind of like cards up, and, a lot of these sports games, when you first boot them up, they ask you for your favorite team, and then the menu is designed around your favorite team. So they'll have, players from that team on, different parts of the menu and whatnot. And it looks really good. It's your favorite team, so it's always, it feels a little bit more catered to what you like, and they've kind of taken that away to just kind of like a really kind of bland and plain Windows 10 kind of look to it. And I think it just kind of takes away from kind of the experience, even though you can still pick your favorite team, but what's the point when none of the menus really kind of adapt to that? Except on one screen, there's, City Field in the background, and that's it.
So,
otherwise, all the menus have, images of Tatis, the cover athlete, on there. So it kind of doesn't make sense that they're doing that. But
are you blaming Xbox for them changing their menus? Is that what I'm catching here? Karl, you catch that? You said Windows 10 kind of...
I'm reading between the lines, and I don't want to put words in Shane's mouth. But I'm guessing that what he's saying is that Sony, knowing that this was going to come out on the Xbox and be, a Game Pass exclusive on day one, have deliberately made a poor version of the game for next generation consoles, purely because Xbox are going to get it. I mean, that's what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I mean, it might be, to make it a little bit more familiar. I don't know.
Yeah, because us Xbox gamers, man, we need like, you got to spoon feed us.
Where's that baseball?
Yeah, my menu can't have good pictures in it.
What is this? This is shit. So I don't know. It just it seems like a big downgrade menu wise. When you get in there and you try it out, you see what I mean.
Yeah, but we got
that's too bad. I like that. You pick your favorite team, and then all the NHL was kind of the same. They did the same thing, and now it's just kind of
SSD, man. You don't live in menus anymore, right? Just boom, 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 boom. You're in a game, hitting symbols
again. You don't
again.
even see a menu,
right? Yeah,
straight to the game.
I know on Xbox there's no menu. It just reads your fucking mind and you're playing.
Oh, here we go. Right? None of that favorite team. It's just boom, let's go.
Yeah,
Joel just turns the lights on when he gets home. It's like, welcome, Joel. Would you like to play MLB?
right. Let's put $15 into your Game Pass account, and we'll keep you satiated, sir.
Right.
I'm
sorry, I can't do that, Dave. How's
the game of ball, though, man? The menus aside, and us joking around.
Yeah, the gameplay is still great. It's still great and whatnot. Everything's really fluid, man. It plays, like MLB, how you want it to, and it's fantastic. Fielding's good, batting's good. Be a little bit of a learning curve, for some new players. Start waiting for those pitches. Don't be swinging at every pitch.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Guilty.
Be patient. So you hit those dingers.
I have no. You've played against me, Shane. I have no plate discipline. You know that.
Oh, that's really okay. I've only played. I don't think have I even played. I don't even think I've ever played MLB online. Maybe I've tried to, but that's a tough game to pull off online, man. You can't have any lag at all. Baseball's like the one game that's tough to pull off online.
Yeah, with the lag, the pitching and hitting, it's such a split second thing.
You can't. I think I did once, and there was like 28 strikeouts. It's crazy.
I remember that on the Dreamcast. A big Dreamcast fan. It had the online back in the day, and one of the first to do that. And their sports games were great. The NFL 2K football was fantastic. The hockey was great. The basketball was great. They're coming out with the baseball. I'm like, sweet. It's gonna be rad. There's no online multiplayer. What the fuck is going on?
Right.
But I think it was the infrastructure and the split second hitting and pitching thing. I mean, that's tough to pull off, even now.
Yeah, totally agree. Like me and Shane play a lot of FIFA online. We and if there is latency, you can kind of figure out what's going. Like there's only a certain amount of ramifications of what will happen, and it doesn't impact on the game too much, does it, Shane? To be fair, like if we have a bit of latency, it generally doesn't result in a goal or something happening, and play catches up on itself. But with baseball, it's a completely different animal. Like blink and you miss it, and your dude's gone. He's back in the dugout.
And to be fair, we also, you and I, Karl, have a lot of this thing called sportsmanship, where when we have noticed that there has been some significant lag, the other person, usually me, because that's what I do, when we back off for a bit until it, kind of sorts itself out, and then go in for the kill. I'm going to do it while somebody's lagging. I ain't that type of player. Hold off a bit. All right, it settles, and then we continue on.
Such a gentleman. You got beers in the fridge, and you lay off the kill shot while it's lagging.
Yeah, exactly, man. Show your opponent a little bit of respect. It ain't his fault. Hold off. Then go in for the kill. Looking at you, Palmer.
Yeah, you're a cheater. You're a cheater, Karl.
I'll just pretend. I'm like, oh, dude, it falls for it every time.
Oh, my controller died. Top corns. Good times. Yeah, no, man. It's but it's a solid game of baseball. It's a drastic change to the menu system, and apparently I don't like change, so. But still good game of ball, and it's free to play on Game Pass. So try it out. Download it. Tell me I'm crazy.
And go Brewers.
Go Brewers.
All right, there you go. Anything else?
Is it American Family Field? Go Yankees.
Yep. American Family Field. Yankees. Come on, dude.
I'm gonna.
Well, at least they're not the front runners anymore. So you're sticking with them.
Certainly not.
You're not bandwagon, as we call it here.
Right.
I started following after the World Series. They've sucked ever since. So.
Yeah, so you jumped on the bandwagon and you stayed there. I give you props for that.
I'll see it through.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. Very good.
Boy.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Join us on Discord, hang out, tweet at us, send us an email. Links to all of that on our website, abandofgamers.com, and in the show notes. We make it pretty easy. We're here. We'd love a hug and a hey, so reach out. I'm being awkward, right? The hug thing? I'm going over the line there. I'm being totally awkward.
No, the hug's fine. I think a socially distanced hug, of course. Like it's all elbows now, isn't it?
Right. I mean, don't see me in a pub and run up and give me a hug. Like that'd be creepy. Although
give us a hug.
Be really
with a review.
Really an honor too. Like you recognize me from the show? Like holy shit. It's never happened.
Recognize your voice. That's it. It's game over then.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. 2 weeks. Bye.
Enjoy your games, eh?
And your beer.